welcome back. Today my video is going to be about my notes and my planner and just kind of how I organize things when it comes to studying. I'll be going over kind of what I write in my planner, how to set my goals, and then also what I use as notes. And I also use a cheat sheet just to be able to jot down things that come up when I'm doing my multiple choice quizzes. And I'm also going to talk to you a little bit more about my whiteboard. So I hope you guys enjoy this little look into my notes and how I do things. All right, so this is my journal for studying. I wanted to show you guys how I prepare for my week in my planner. So this is last week because you can tell it gets filled up throughout the week. I did want to show that this is my week for my review. So I've already been through BEC material once, and this is my second time through. So what I do is today's going to be a review day, basically 2 times 31 questions. I'm on week 8, so I always like to put which week, and then I'll put in like what my review looks like for this week. All right, so here is my schedule after I've been through 1 week of studying. Basically, I'll write down like the section that I did, some review if I have it. These other colors that aren't black are going to be personal things. So I have like Bible study, which is what I do every day. And I have some Bible stuff too for my women's group. And then I do write if I exercise or not. That just keeps me accountable. So here's section 2 I did on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, I also did section 2. On Thursday, I did section 3. And then Friday, I worked on 3 as well. And Saturday too. So that was kind of an end of my week. Sundays I keep open to stay off. And then at the end of the week or the beginning of the week, I'll also write in all of my personal things that I have going on. So up here, I do have what I'm going to do this week, the cram course. And then I also want to do some review. And I have a little bit of last week that I wanted to do. I didn't get to, so I'm going to do it on Monday today. So I'm going to go ahead and focus on reviewing. And then I'll start section 4 on Tuesday and then work on it Wednesday, section 5 Thursday, and then work on it Friday, and then catch up on whatever I need on Saturday, and then Sunday off again. So I just want to give you guys a little idea of what I schedule during the week. I think this is really good so that you have your goals set out for you. The cool thing that I have for my cram course, my second time through, is I have how many quizzes per section. So that way I can plan how many quizzes I'll do per day. So if I can do 4 quizzes a day, then I'll know that I can do the cram course on Tuesday for section 4, and then the quizzes, it's about 4 quizzes. I can finish those in one day, and then I can move on to the next lecture and the next quizzes. So that's just kind of how I do things. So here are my notes. These are kind of crazy because they have the pink on there. That's like my second time through. So let me go to a section. So here's section 4 of my notes. As you can tell, I kind of go through and write down the title, how long the video is, and then some notes that either the instructor writes down or that I want to keep in mind. This just helps me stay focused during the lecture, so I'm not like wandering my mind and doing other things. So these are my notes. So I do it for each section. This section, it looks like here's my other notes. So these are more clean. After I do this is my second time through since I've already been through section 1 twice. I keep my pink highlighter and pink pen on the side when I'm doing my first time through. And then when I do the cram course for Roger, I go ahead and highlight the sections that we go over just to like help me stay engaged and help me to see it again. I'm a very visual learner. So as you can see, like this one, I didn't really have a lot of pink highlights, but this one I did. We talked a little bit more about supply, equilibrium, like the different graphs. So I really like to look at those and kind of refresh my memory. So that's kind of how my notes are set up. And then these are the questions. So I'll mark the ones that we went through just in case I want to go back to them. But yeah, I usually do this as my second time through just so that I'm not rewriting my notes, but I have something to look at while I'm going through the cram course. So these are the end of my section 4 notes. And at the end of each section, I like to do quiz work. This is just my first time through because I like to write it down to see it and then go back to it in case it comes up in different questions later. So I do like different colors per the different questions so that I can really see what each question had, because sometimes it can get like muddled and it all looks like the same question. So I do that. And then I'll start a new section after that. After I do all the quizzes and I start a new section, go through and do everything. And then I highlight my quiz work for that section in case I want to go back. So after the end of section 5, I have my quiz work for section 5 in different colors. See how this one was like a bigger question, so I needed more space. And then I can always tell the different questions that I have here just because they're different colors and it's easy to refer back to them. Continuing on with my notes section of this video, I like to print out the BEC course breakdown. They have it for all the sections for Rogers CPA. And I go through and write down like what percentage each is as I'm doing it. So I know how far I've gone. It really helps me to stay motivated. And then here I write down how many minutes it is per the section videos. And then break it down to 3 hours and 45 minutes, which I do 1.75 fast, so it's a little bit faster than the 3 hours and 45 minutes. Sometimes I do 2 times fast, but usually I save that for the cram course. And then I write down how many multiple choice questions there are and TBS, and then I write down the target via the smart path. And then I divide it by 15 and do the quizzes. So I've done this in another video where I actually said, what's your target? Divide it by 15, and then you get how many quizzes. So I do that for all of them. I highlight it once I do it so I know my progress. So here's all these sections, and then I also on the back when I do my cram course, they don't really have one for the cram course, so I just make my own, and I do the final review cram course, and I write down like what the video numbers are, and then the topics. I write down how long it takes, and then here I have per video how long each video is, just to help me plan out like, okay, I can do 2 videos and then go wash dishes, or 2 videos and then go for a walk, and kind of break it up like that. And then I also write down how many questions and how many quizzes again, and then the percentage and what section it is, because here on the cram course it's not really split up in sections. It is, but they don't really say, hey, this is section 1, section 2 like they do for the full course. So I like to break it up and just do like a highlighter to know like one section, one end, so that I can plan for how many videos I have. And the other part of my notes I wanted to show you, in school when I used to have accounting classes, I would have cheat sheets sometimes, or I would just make them just for review purposes. And so I do this. So this is section 1, and I kind of fold it to where like this is section 1, this is section 2. And as I'm doing the homework quizzes, I write down things that maybe I can remember, something small, just because I can flip through this like periodically to look back at these. So when I do a new section, if there's something that I realize that I didn't know, like for example, the CPI equals the rate of inflation, I have that written here. And I also do different colors for the different topics. That way I can look back at a glance and kind of look at, okay, Phillips curve, macroeconomics, GDP, because I notice when I do the same color, it kind of gets mixed together. So I'm very like a colors person. So I do that. Here's section 2. Section 3 is a little bit bigger, so you can kind of tell. Section 4 and 5, I still add to these. So since I'm reviewing these, they'll probably have more by the end. And then here too, section 5, section 6, I even put like charts, because this is a chart that I got wrong a couple times, and so I wanted to make sure to have the master budget components here, and then some charts here. And then this is section 7, so my final section. So here on section 7, I just put the number, section number, and then the title for that section, just so I kind of know what's going on. And then I start with my notes. So here is another part of my notes and studying that I really like to use. I use a whiteboard while I'm studying just because I can erase it. And I found that when I was studying for FAR my first time, I was wasting a lot of paper by doing that. I do use paper sometimes. So here I'm using paper as my scratch paper. This is when I do the 4-hour mock exam, just because I want to mimic how it will be on the exam. A lot of the times they do have laminated paper that you use, kind of like a whiteboard. You can apply for paper and pencil instead of the whiteboard and the marker. So if you want to know that, go ahead and leave me a comment below, and I can definitely put down the link of how to do that. And yeah, this is just my notes that I like to do on a whiteboard. So here I used 2 different colors. I went ahead and did one for FIFO and weighted average, because you don't know what you're going to get on the exam. I know for this question I did get weighted average, so I did that one first, but I wanted to see what the difference in amount would be for weighted average versus FIFO. As you can see, this question has both weighted average, and FIFO as the answers. So you have to be very careful, read the question, kind of see what they're asking. But this would be a really good example for why I would use my whiteboard. So that's it for today. I went ahead and showed you a little bit of my planner and kind of how I work through my schedule for the week and my notes and kind of how I do things for my first round and my second round. I really like the way that I do my notes, so that way the first time through I'm writing all my notes and kind of something to keep my interest throughout the lecture, and then my second time through with the cram course I'm just highlighting in pink what it is that I go through. I kind of gave you a look at my cheat sheet and what I do to keep the things that I need to study more readily available. And then at the end, my whiteboard, which was really helpful throughout my studying because it helps that I'm not wasting paper, and then I can also be reusing it, and it kind of gives you a feel for the exam. At the Prometric Center, you usually get a laminated piece of paper and some markers to use as scratch paper during the exam. So that's what I like to do with the whiteboard, so that I can kind of practice and get a feel for that as well. And it really helps to save paper too. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you really like my channel. I have more videos coming up about my CPA exam journey. Please give this video a thumbs up if you really enjoyed it. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.